Welcome to the Gravel Paddock, the podcast that takes you directly inside a professional gravel peloton. I'm your host, Antonin Liverset, Sports Marketing Manager. Here we bypass the fluff and talk about what actually matters: raw race tactics, pro tech setup, and the unfiltered business of modern racing. From the UCI World on Gravel Earth Series to the American Monuments of the Lifetime Grand Prix, the race starts here. Let's get into today's episode. Welcome to the episode 6 of the Gravel Paddock. Today we are talking about absolute grit and resilience. My guests had one of the most insane weekends in Girona, bouncing back from a heartbreaking crash in the Traka 360 to a fight for the podium in the 200 the very next day. Karolina Migoń, welcome to the pod.
Hey, nice. Happy to join.
So let's go back and let's rewind a bit on your career. How did you first find your way into gravel racing?
So I was not planning to go back to racing because I was racing on road and on the mountain bike when I was at university. Then I stopped because of the COVID. I started a job as a software engineer. And I moved to Lausanne, to Switzerland. Everyone was riding gravel here, and I wanted to meet people, so I didn't have a choice, and I just had to buy a gravel bike, which opened a lot of new roads and new friendships for me. And then Niels Korevan, that was part of Para Racing last year, and he's still an ambassador. He convinced me to try racing again. I was really I was postponing it a lot, and I was not really urgent to meet. I was happy where I was, meeting people, doing a lot of coffee breaks, riding in the mountains with friends, which was still super fun. But yeah, part of me missed a bit the competition. Of course, once racer, I think you just like adrenaline, you like to fight, and yeah, I'm a competitive person. So even on a social ride, I was always in the front. And then I did my first race UCI Monserrato in Italy, which is not far away from home. And I was second, losing the spring with Annika Langebert. I think she was also not really in the race mode. I mean, not in the shape. I was also not training. I was just riding a bike. So it was still impressive result. And that's how I got connected with par racing.
Okay, cool. And after you went on with all the racing and you had a breakthrough, let's say 2025 season, and we will talk about this just after. But going back on the Swiss base, you live and train in Switzerland next to Lausanne, while maybe half of the pro gravel peloton has now relocated to Girona in Spain. So you choose to stay in the Alps. Why and how does it shape your training? Because it's not really the same kind of terrain.
I really love it here. I love Switzerland. I love the mountains. I love the people, the outdoor vibe, and I love the 4 seasons of the year. It's really beautiful. So I also didn't plan to move to Switzerland at any point because coming from Poland, it was really like not in the reach, I would say. But yeah, my husband got the opportunity to relocate here, so I also found a job here. And I just fell in love, and I just can't imagine moving out for now. And
Yeah.
where is Girona is super nice place to ride a bike, and the community is huge, which sometimes I miss here because I don't have many people that I can ride with because most people work on and they don't train, like they don't have structured training. They just do like coffee rides. Sometimes it's difficult, but then I'm half of the year I'm also not at home because I'm out racing and yeah, spending some time in Girona during winter. Of course, Girona is also not far from my place, so I can just drive there by car and always find a sunny spot. So I wouldn't go to Spain. It's beautiful, it's nice. Girona is a cool place, but maybe also living in the bubble and just thinking about gravel bikes all the time wouldn't be that good for my mental health.
Yeah, for sure. And living in the Swiss Alps also, you have a different kind of training with maybe a bit more elevation gain on the road, especially, and more steep and technical gravel tracks than what we can find in northern Spain.
I would say Girona is pretty cool for gravel training, and also there is a lot of mountain biking trails, so you can test your skills. You have also a lot of time, so I wouldn't say it's bad or it's yeah, it's a bit different, but still you can do every kind of training. But of course, you mostly do climbs and like pretty alpine gravel.
Yeah, which is cool. Yeah, talking about last year, it was a massive breakthrough for you with especially the 4 consecutive major wins with Traka 360, Gravel Low Cost, Unbound, Lost and Found. And you finished also second overall in the Gravel Series ranking. So did that season change your status within the Gravel peloton or even the way you're racing now?
For sure. I gained a lot of confidence. I think also other people they started to really respect me. Though I have to say that I had a really good start of the season. The second part was a bit more difficult. So I'm learning now how to balance everything and have a more constant season, not to finish it halfway. But I still managed to finish second overall in the gravel earth, which was pretty cool. So for sure, I'm in the front of the peloton still. Even though there are many new faces, I think there are still like repetitive faces that are always in the front, and I'm part of it for sure.
Yeah, especially on the women's side. On the men's side, we can see more and more, let's say, challenger claiming races or doing a podium or good top 10 on some races and some other being far from the lead. But on the women's side, we can see, let's say, a group of 10 women which are consistently there on
Yes.
all kind of races, on the Lifetime Grand Prix, on UCI races, even on the Gravel Series and on different terrain. So how do you explain this?
Yeah, we are more consistent, and also I think it's easier to be all arounder for women. We can also see it on the road peloton that you can if you can climb, you can also be fast on a flat course. So I think that's what makes us pretty consistent.
Yeah. Okay. And so, what were your main goals entering 2026? You had some targeted competition on your mind. Also, where you focus on building the professional structure because you came up into gravel really fast in a fast way, winning big races. So I assume it changed a bit how you structure, or you are structured, or you are planning your year.
So, firstly, the level goes up every year. So every year I'm challenging myself, like, will I be at the top? Like, am I still capable of rising up my level? So this year I'm pretty lucky because I managed to quit my job and focus fully on cycling. And that's why I think I started the season way better than normally without the job. I spent some time at altitude, and my main focus this year in general is Lifetime Grand Prix. So that's what I'm preparing for. That's why I went at altitude at the beginning of the year to prepare for Leadville already because I don't have good experience with altitude. So I'm trying to play a bit with it. And the Traka was a big goal of mine because it's the biggest race in Europe that we have. And yeah, besides it's mostly all the Lifetime Grand Prix races. So Sea Otter, Unbound, Leadville, Big Sugar. We'll see, yeah, how the season goes, and I will adapt because it's also a lot of travel to US. So I see how my body handles that.
Usually it's challenging for European at some point during the season, not especially at the beginning, but more and more towards the end, where also the Lifetime Grand Prix, the races are more next to each other's. You have less time in between. So yeah, that's really challenging for European to go there and keep the good performances during all the season.
Exactly, exactly.
Outside of competition, so the your last season allowed you also to have new partners and to professional yourself going, let's say, pro at 100%. It's really helping because you don't have the stress of working, of doing extra hours to train and so on. But how you are organizing your private year season and setup? How are you doing with this?
So firstly, I have agency, which helps a lot. I started when I was still working, and I didn't have time to meet all the people, you know. And also part of it is pa racing, which gives a lot of support. And they handle almost all the logistic, so that takes a lot of stress out from us. You know, booking the flights and cars and houses, etc. And also even the feed zones at the races. So that's a huge part that I'm not involved in, which is pretty amazing.
Yeah, that's pretty helpful, I assume, to not have to taking care of all the logistic.
Yeah, and then I have my own sponsors, which very often they are also at the races, so I can always ask for help, and they're always around and ready to help. And that's I'm pretty lucky with people that I work with.
Okay, so the transition is perfect because after I wanted to talk about past racing and maybe how you see the evolution of teams within gravel because it's a big topic right now and since the beginning of the season. So you ride for past racing, as I said, and which was one of the first structured gravel team out there, but yet composed of privateers. So it's kind of different of what we can see on the road and what we are used to. So how does the internal dynamic work? Are you trying to race as a team this season, for example? Because it's always complicated when you have also private partners, which are allowing you to be pro also outside of the past racing team, and it's challenging. I assume for athletes to say, okay, I help a teammate, but they are not 100% on the same setup as me.
Yeah, it's super tricky, I have to admit. With all the guys, we just try not to interrupt our races so far, not to disrupt or destroy our results. But from what I can see, everyone is moving towards team tactics, and it gives big results. And we can see Specialized and Canyon doing really good job there on the men's and women's side. So I would say it slowly transition towards the road approach, basically. And yeah, we'll see how the season goes because we also do a lot of different races. And also everyone is at different disposition at different time of the season. But of course, we have our own sponsors, which pays our bonus, not someone else. And I think this is super tricky. So we'll take every race by race because there are races that I would say team tactics is not as important. It can help for sure at certain point, but it's not necessary, let's say. But there are some races that it can benefit you a lot and it can just like makes you win.
Yeah, like the one which is coming soon
Yes.
and that we will talk about later, which is Unbound for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah. But I don't know what we'll do. But for now it's mostly we try just not to interrupt our races. But we are not racing for someone else. We are not sacrificing ourselves and our race to someone else so far.
Okay, I understand. So there is kind of an agreement in between you. So you share all the moment, you share the logistic partnership with Pass Racing. They are taking care of this, but after you are racing kind of on your own, and you are relying on the team to help you on feed zone and managing everything which is outside of competition, let's say. And when you are on the bike on the start line, you are racing for yourself, right?
Yes, but it also helps to have someone in the same jersey. Even if you're in the breakaway or someone else in the breakaway, you can see in the group and wait for a good moment, right? So it's still like there are some benefits for sure, but we are not doing team tactics
Yeah,
so
I
far.
see. And in your mind, do you think we are going to see more structured road style team in gravel in the coming years? Maybe will the privateer collective model as paranormal will stay the norm?
I think we'll go towards road racing tactics. I mean, we see the results from the races, and we see how it works. So I think that's how it will go, basically.
Okay. And so the 2026 season, we can call it maybe the fourth place streak, which is could be good or could be a bit annoying for you because you have the consistency in your power. You had a good start of the season with the P5 at Santaval with a really stacked field with all the challengers there. And after at Castellon UCI race, you finished fourth. At the Hills, I assume you had something wrong at some point on the race because you finished P32, which is not in your what we are used to see for your rankings. And at Sea Otter, you finish again fourth. And now at Traka 200, another fourth place. So you are consistently right there, fighting at the front and just missing the podium by seconds or minutes. So how do you process this streak of four places?
So I had a lot of bad luck this season, and that's why I've I haven't won yet. So I think the only race that I didn't have any mechanical or crash or anything, it was the other. But then I think I was just too desperate to get like good position, so I burned all my matches before the finish line. So I'm working on that. I think that I found an issue in my setup, and I think that right now it should be the rest of the season should be smooth. Fingers
Okay.
crossed.
Okay, so you are not too frustrated about those fourth places? Or maybe does it fuel the fires knowing that the podium is just few pedal stroke away from you?
Yeah, it fuels me, but I think it was like one too much, especially because I even tried twice and then both races went pretty off because of mechanical issues. I think that was a breaking point, and like mentally after the race, I was pretty done. And I'm sorry, everyone who I haven't replied because I just didn't want to talk about it. I think right now I digested it a bit, but it's still like pretty disappointing race for me, and like knowing all the hard work I did and how ready I was. But it's also part of racing, and I think it's also part of the job to handle the stress and handle some setbacks and some issues. But I'm trying to stay positive.
Yeah, if we let Traka Rollercoaster away for a few minutes, because we have a big race debrief after, and we have a lot to say about this. You said we had some mechanical issues earlier on earlier races this year. So can you let us know what the mechanical issue were? Because on we have live feeds now, video coverage on most of the races, but they don't have 100 bikes to follow every group. So in gravel, usually you know what's happening on the lead group, but when you are even in a chase group, you don't know what the rider experienced. So yeah, let us know what happened on previous races.
So at Santaval, I took wrong turn in very crucial moment, and I had to go back, and then I was already in like third or fourth group. So then the stage race is basically done on the first day. You just screw up. Then we have Castellón, where I just crashed on the recon and then on the race day. So it was not the best day, let's say. I'm still happy that I managed fourth, but I was not descending really well, and I still can feel a bit of the mental load there on the crashes. So that's what I will work on. Then at the hills, like I had a flat that I couldn't fix, and I had to put the tube on. And it turns out that my tube doesn't have a right valve, etc. And I waited a bit on the side of the road, thanks to the guy that stopped and helped me. But then the course was so nice that I still wanted to finish the race. I'm just not the person that DNF that easy. And it's also a good training, so that's why I decided to finish anyway. What else? Yes, the other went pretty well when it comes to all the mechanical issue. That's why I was not happy with the result, but I was happy how the race went, so that I had finally a smooth race. So it's always,
And Traka will just talk about it now. And as I said, it was a big roller coaster for you, because we know that your target was the 360, and you started the race as one of the Macy favorite, let's say, because you won last year, obviously. So you had the bib number one. And I was in the expo when it happened. I was following the live feed and the live tracking also. And it seems that the info are not really clear about it, but it seems that around the 100K while you were in the lead group, but it was off the live broadcast, you crashed. So walk us through what happened. We heard that mechanical failure stopped you from getting back in the race, but we have no more info than this.
Yeah, I also didn't comment it straight away. So basically, there is one section that's pretty chunky. I think it's like kilometer 70, maybe. It's a chunky uphill with chunky downhill. It's pretty difficult, and mostly there is just one line. And because there was a little bit mistake at the start, so the pro guys started first, and then we were supposed to start. But half of the amateurs, they just went with the pro guys. And I know they stopped them at the roundabout and they waited a bit, but in the end, I don't know how you want to stop like 1,000 guys.
Okay, it wasn't planned. It was
not planned. We were
an
supposed
issue,
to
a
go.
mistake in the start organization. So okay,
Yes, exactly. There was something of like someone either like I don't know. Also the mass.
Yeah, for sure.
Like one person go, then like everyone follows. So we had to pass a lot of amateurs, a lot. And then on this section, there was also a lot of amateurs that couldn't go really fast up. So I tried to. I was first there. I was leading, and I tried to pass an amateur, but then I hit the stone. I went through the handlebar. I hit my handlebar. I couldn't breathe for a while. So I really thought that, oh no, I'm done. That was pretty crazy. But okay, it went away, and then I just wanted to jump on my bike, and then my rear wheel was just like out of air, and because I hit the deck pretty hard, the valve broke.
Okay.
So I couldn't do anything. I put the tube again. I had the right one, so it went a bit smoother, but I still lost like 15 minutes. So then I was like, okay, like what do I do? So I was like, okay, but tomorrow there's another race, right? And I still felt pretty okay, and I think I rode like around 3 hours race pace. But it's still okay. Then it took me 1 hour to get to the feet and to get into the car, which was still after 4 hours, and it was still 10 a.m. Plenty of time to recover and prepare for another day. So I went straight to SRAM that helped me repair the bike, and also like I hit the ground so hard that my frame broke. So kudos to Anne from SRAM and Bastian for helping me figuring out another bike and like getting everything sorted out. That was a lot of stress. Why I was also motivated to race, because there was like people putting a lot of time to help me racing, also Falbi with the tires, etc. So yeah, I had a good recovery, let's say, as much as you can, because at least the guys, I trust them, and I knew that I will have a bike for another day. Everything was sorted out, so that was pretty cool. Maybe a bit stressful, but still okay. And also, I would say, there are women, I mean, there are riders in road that they do the stage races for 3 weeks. So I would say like racing another day was not really a big issue, let's say. I had plenty of recovery before, so I knew that I will feel okay.
Yeah, but still, the mental turnaround is huge because you go from kind of devastating DNF, even if you flip your mental game quickly because you say, okay, I'm focused on the 200. You still crashed hard. It was one of your main target of the season, and you found the motivation to line up again on the start the very next morning. So you have few hours to deal with everything. So how in your mind you managed to do this? Because even if you took the example of the guys on the road, usually when they are DNFing a stage race, they are not taking the start the morning after because they are out of the race. But you managed to do it, and also you needed to work with the organization, I assume, to have a bib for the next morning race because it was full. So yeah, talk us through the mental turnaround and also all the logistics around this. How do you manage to do this?
Yeah, I think I'm pretty easy to switch my goals. Also, if there is a chance to race, I will race. And the course, it's shorter, but it's still a fun course. So I was like, okay, like it's still a big race, and it's still another chance. So why I wouldn't take it? I was a bit sore, but I didn't break anything. I also think that it's better to focus on something else that can happen than on something that didn't happen. So I think that's why I was like, okay, it's Traka 320 or whatever. It's not mine anymore, but I can still try 200 and get something out of it, right? And also get some good riding before Unbound.
Okay, cool.
So that was my motivation. And also, I just if you're preparing for so long and then it just slips out of your hands, you just try something else. That's my approach. And logistically, yeah, the Lars from Pa and Chris from Classmark, they helped me to sort out the number. So I'm really thankful for that. Yeah, that's why I also like there were so many people that wanted me to race 200 and help me that, and it was really not easy, and it was not the let's say super smooth way. But yeah, we managed to get me on the start line, and I think it's also yeah, 2 days in a row waking up super early. It was pretty hard, but it's just one weekend, and then I could recover at home, so it's okay.
So yeah, not the best preparation for a race at all, but in the end, you managed to take the start the next morning. And how did the body and the legs actually feel lining up on the start line? Because you can feel that you're okay on the day and on the 360 when you DNF with the crash, but the day after a night, usually it's worse. So how were you feeling on the
Yeah,
start line?
yeah. So I woke up pretty sore. It was good to ride to the start line from the house and do some good warm up because my muscles were really tired, and so was my body. But yeah, first couple of kilometers are always hard, but then if you are pushing harder, I think the also the pain kind of goes away sometimes. And I also was kind of trying not to focus on the pain. I was trying to focus on the pace and on the climbs and on the descents, and just be in the moment, and just looking at my body and and crying. But that was definitely, the start was hard for me. But then once you warm up, it's okay.
And walk us through the race now, because you were in the lead group at the beginning. How did it went in terms of the group actively working or not?
So we were pushing pretty strong in the climb. I think we were four riders. It was Nele, Sofia, me, and the girl from Switzerland. I don't remember her name now. Oh, sorry. She was just behind me. She was five. So we were pushing pretty strong in the climb, but then no one wanted to work together. So it was always like going back and forth. On every climb, we're breaking away, but then we're not pushing. And then there was a descent that, part of the climb that is not in the 360, so I didn't know it. And that's where I pinched flat, and I kept riding on a flat tire until the long descent, where the race was decided. That's where I stopped. I had to pump my tire, and then Cecily Decker from my team, she crashed there, so we were together there, and we were still believing that we can make it back to the group. But then the front group was not front group anymore, because there was Sofia and Larissa in the front, and the group was not working at all. So we were super disappointed, because I think we had the mindset that we raced for the win. So we started to push in the group, and we started to motivate other girls to work with us. But I think they were really, I don't understand this, like the women not working together, and they're just sitting and just looking at each other and like not doing anything. The win is just like sliding away. So I was pretty disappointed. And then I kept losing air, so I kept stopping a couple of times. I had to chase back again, but at least the group was not moving that fast. And then I stopped at the feet, where the group like just went off, and I had to change my wheel. And I had to chase again, and that's like, it's before the big climb, so the girls started to push again. So I had to chase a lot, also because you cannot communicate at all. At the feet, my team was not ready for me to change my tire, to change my wheel. So it took a while. So then I lost a lot of time, and I had to chase back. And then I passed a lot of girls on the climb, of course. But then there were two girls that I didn't pass on the climb. I didn't know my position either. Like, I didn't know the gaps at all, which is also really annoying, because you don't know like what, like where are you, like So I would say like that's something that, at least, like, okay, maybe we cannot use the phones, but maybe we could get some information, because it just, I know that we don't want to do road racing, though it starts to happen. But it would be nice to get any information. Like, where I even didn't really know if I'm like, if there are more girls, maybe if I'm like 5, 6, or after you stop and you pass a lot of girls, you don't know. So that was a bit annoying. And then I saw the fourth girl, yes, and she was just pretty done. So I passed her, and then it gave me extra motivation, but I still didn't know how far is the third place. If I knew that this is so close, maybe I would be able to close the gap. But then also, because of the grass in the feed zone, it took me a bit more time on the second feed zone to put the bottles in, and then also I took some wrong turns, and I was also I don't know if the gap is like 1 minute or 5.
Yeah, that was my next question, but you answer it directly. So I wanted to ask you if you had any info from the side of the road about the time gaps, because when you are in the lead, you have to push. And if you have the info about the time gap, you just need to manage it. But when you are chasing and you have also some issues, having info really help, because you don't know how hard you need to push to bridge the gap, and maybe play for something, play to climb on the, right, to climb on the podium, or for fourth spot, the top 10 or whatever. So mentally it's really tough. Plus the wrong turns, the flat and everything. It seems to have been really a tough race for you, tough 2 days for you mentally. But you always managed to refocus, and you did the final push, as you say, and you ended up finishing fourth, only 1 minute and 20 seconds away in the end from the podium. Yeah, walk us through the dynamic of the final part of the course, where you managed to finish fourth, pass the girl, and When you crossed the finish line, what was in your mind?
So yeah, I passed the fourth girl, but I didn't know like what is my place. I get some information that there is another girl, but I didn't know like how far she is. Like no idea. No one told me, and that's why I didn't know that I'm so close. And that's why I kind of chased, but I was also kind of done mentally. So in the end, I didn't push as hard as I could, and I could just avoid some mistakes, etc. So yeah, that's a bit of a shame, but it is what it is. It's also gravel racing, and that's how it is, unfortunately. So when I arrived at the finish line, I was devastated, and yeah, I don't know. Like I think I've never had such a hard moment in my life because physically I was super strong, same mentally, but then the luck was not on my side, and yeah, it was a big go of my season. And I think it's also harder because right now I don't have work, so I cannot just fall back to something else. I just go home and then yeah, the only thing I think about is racing. Of course, there are some different things, but it's still in my mind, and I cannot refocus and pay, yeah, and just focus on something else.
Yeah, and also for people to know, in the industry, you have bonuses when you finish races. You have the fee which is paid by the organizer, but Traka, you don't have any fee. So, and the only way to get bonuses usually is to do the podium. So when you are not scoring a podium and you are at your level, usually it costs you to go to the races, even in a structure like best racing. So it's really important to, especially when there is only minutes in between and you had all these issues during the race. So do you think if you had informations about the gap and you knew it was only a minute and 30 seconds, you could have finished stronger and climb on
I
the
mean,
third
I don't
spot?
know. I really don't know. It's hard to say. For sure, if I didn't have flat and all the issues, I would have fight for better places. But in the end, it's racing. It's I think that's how it is sometimes. But yeah, it's I would say that I'm not driven by bonuses or the money, but I'm driven by the like feeling of victory and feeling of achievement. And I gave it all, and the result was not there, and it was not because of my fault. So it just like super painful and heartbreaking.
Yeah, but
Just
still,
that.
fourth place at,
I know that a lot of people are happy, like would be super happy about
yeah,
it. I'm not, because I'm not this kind of rider.
for sure.
I always trying to race for a win, and that's what I was preparing for. But yeah, that's part
But
of our
after
job.
all the setbacks you had for 2 days and after the crash, still racing 100k full or at least 70k full gas, all the logistic that you needed to manage and finishing at the fourth place with all the mechanical issue, the flat, the wrong turns, it's still a really good performance and encouraging for the next part of the season because you know you have the confidence now in your body, in your power, in how you race. You just need to click now.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's the thing you cannot control also. But on your side, when you can't control seems to be really dialed in.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm really looking forward for the second part of the season. I really hope that all my issues will be gone, and I will have smooth races that I can just focus on being there and fighting for the win.
And now we can talk a bit about the tech and the nutrition because it's a topic really engaging for people, especially you with the, let's say, double setup you needed to have for the 360 then the 200. So let's talk about the bike. What was your original setup for the 360 with your bike and your nutrition?
So I was riding a mountain bike tire in the front, and then 45 in the rear from Schwalbe. And then yeah, SRAM, Eagle, Mulet. For all the climbs, I think it's maybe it's not 13 speed, but the range is way bigger, and it just allows you to have this range, so you don't have to like really go for it. I think that's like I have pretty simple setup for all the races. Of course, I change a bit, depends on the conditions and the course, but I kind of set my go-to tires and go-to drivetrain and chainring, so I know what I use. So I think that's a nice part, so I don't have to think that much about it. And then for the nutrition, yeah, I go for 90 grams per hour, more or less. Also, sometimes I adjust, depends on the race, on the dynamic of the race. Also, if the bicarb and no bicarb, etc. So for the Traka, the plan was to take bicarb at the end of the race at 320, but it didn't happen, and I didn't use it at the 200. I was just I think my stomach was just a bit too heavy after the previous day, so I didn't want it to risk it. But I used caffeine, but that's pretty simple. And yeah, for the water, just just so you have enough, maybe a bit of the margin if you lose a bottle, but you don't want to carry too much on the
The
climbs.
climbs, yeah, for sure. And after the crash, did you have to change your setup, or you say the whole frame, to line up for the shorter and faster 200K race the next day? And also, did you change your tires or gearing compared to the 360 setup?
So 200 is pretty similar, except this one part where I flatted. So I think I could have chosen different tires. You never I didn't know this part of the course, so that's too late. But yeah, I didn't change anything on my bike.
Okay, it was the same setup for the 360
Exactly.
or the 200.
Yeah.
Talking about tire, we are seeing more and more mountain bike tire with the frame, which are evolving, also accepting larger tire, and it changed a lot on the loose gravel like we have in Girona. What pressure did you run on the front and the back?
So I had 1.45 bars in the front, and then 1.85, 1.9 in the back, which that's what I use for most of the races. So this is also pretty easy. But yeah, I have limited space in some parts of the bike, so I cannot go that big. But still, I do what I can, and I think the trend is just correct. You just go faster when you can pedal more smoother. You can put more power. That makes sense, and you just feel more comfortable. So that's where the gravel goes.
Yeah, and even if it's evolving fast, let's say the market needs are evolving faster than the frame production rate or design rate,
Yes.
because we understand you need a bit of time to design and produce and deliver a frame. But the needs with the speed, especially at your level, the pro elite level, is amazing now. And the needs for mountain bike tire, lower pressure, I really high. But can you let us know with your flat? Were they happening on the front, on the back, on both
So on the
tires?
front, yeah, on the front mostly. I pinch flat or something. I'm just, yeah, I'm checking up my setup, and I will try to avoid it next time. And I think I found a solution, so it's good. But also when we talk about the speed, it also and like the bikes and the gravel decks evolves fast. We also forgot like about the security, which is I think it really doesn't go the same speed as we are going, which is pretty a shame. Like with all the amateurs, with cars, like no, enough of ambulances at the race, and yeah, I mean, I didn't need any ambulance, and there was also motorbike and photographers where I clashed because I was in the front of the race, but there are also people in the back that, I heard some stories, and it just I think in every race, it's not only the Traka, also in US. Like we really should focus on the security on the races because it's super important if we want to keep going and race and keep going faster. Like we need to also adjust the security and also not call the Traka an event because it's like highly performance race. So well, that's a big issue that have to be addressed.
Yeah, that's a big talk since few days, and everybody can have his own opinion about this. We know it's challenging for you riders going faster and faster, and you are pro, so you are earning your money, and you make a living by winning races. So it's really important for you, and we can also understand that on the organizing part side is really challenging for them also, because it's growing so fast that they need to put new safety, new rules, new organization every year, and grow really fast also. So yeah, that's always like this when the sport is growing really faster than, let's say, everything which is around the sport. Could be the material, but also for sure the race organization and also the structure of the sport. We have the example with the UCI races collecting points next year for road racing, but we don't have really information about this. Even World Tour team don't have really info about this, how many points they could gain or whatever. So I'm pretty sure it will settle down at some point, and everybody will need to go up with their games and how we structure the environment. But for sure, as soon as you have money, profit, and so on, you need a lot more structure to around the sports and around the pro. So that's really definitely a big topic and something which will happen in the future. But yeah, it takes time always. And if we go back on the nutrition strategy, so we know now it's really important. You are supported by ministry. They have a lot of athletes that you are in competition with. So you say that your strategy was around 90 grams of carb per hour, and that you can make it evolve during the race depending of condition and what you need. So were you pushing a little more while trying to catch the fourth place or the podium because you didn't know in which
To be
position?
honest, no, because I didn't have enough. So at the last feed zone, when I tried to put my bottles in, I lost one jaw, and yeah, I didn't have more, so I just went with what I had. But yeah, Ministry, they have a lot of good product. They also have now the anti-cramp, which I also took because I was about to cramp. So they have a lot of good stuff. And also, I after 320, I took the cherry shot. I think it helps also to recover and get rid of some muscle pain. Kudos to them. Just to deliver it before Traka.
But if you had more carbs, you will have.
I think I would, yeah, I would eat more. I had enough water, so then you can eat more carbs.
Okay, fine. It was a good debrief of Traka. A lot of things happened to you, and in the end, we have understood that you were really unlucky for this race. So, if we talk about the next stop, what is the immediate next target for you this season going on?
So of course in Unbound in 3 weeks, I will do the UCI race in Scotland as a training and as a checkup for my bike and seeing how it goes. Oh yeah, but the big goal is for sure it's Unbound, and then I can take a break for a while.
Okay, and you are going to Unbound also as a reigning champ.
Yes,
As
it's a new
Traka.
feeling.
Yeah, so same feeling, same expectation on your side. You want to ride for the win, I
Yeah, of
assume?
course, always I line up for a win. I don't know the course yet. It's different than the last year. I think it's more flat, and if it rains, it's a lot of peanut butter mud. So that's what I'm preparing for.
And when do you go to the US to adapt and
So I go just on Sunday before the race.
okay.
So not that much in advance, but also I think it's enough.
Yeah, it depends on athletes. Some need more time to adapt to the time difference and need to recon the course a lot, and some can jump on a week earlier like you and
Yeah,
still
I
manage
think
to
for
perform.
Unbound it's even better with jet lag because the start is at 6, so you have to wake up at 4-ish. So I think I will keep my jet lag and wake up at 4 every day.
We can say that maybe it's an advantage to be a European for this one.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's easier this way than other way around.
Okay, cool. And ultimate question of the pod: if you could only win one single race this season, it could be races you already done or ones which are coming. Which one would it be and why?
So for sure it will be Unbound. I think it's from the marketing perspective and like any perspective, it's the biggest race in the world, biggest gravel race. And thanks to the win last year, I could quit my job. So defending the title would be I think it would be mind blowing, and that's what I will try to do. But
Yeah,
let's see.
I agree because in the gravel world, we say that there are two races now that can change your life if you win those. And last year you won both, so Traka 360 and Unbound. So yeah, it's pretty clear that the you won Unbound victory changed the way you are living right now, and yeah, you passed pro thanks to those wins. And so yeah, I'm not surprised about your choice to win Unbound. There are brand and a lot of media attention, and the lifetime GP is always
Yes.
growing, also like the
Yes.
sport. Well, yeah, for sure. You are a rookie on the lifetime GP, except you did Unbound last year. But what status do you have on the lifetime? You are
So I'm a third right now.
okay, cool. So yeah, it could be really good to win
Yes.
Unbound. And closing the show. So where can people follow your journey? I assume you are active on social media.
Yes, so I'm on Instagram, Karolina Migoń, and then I also have Strava. You can link from Instagram as well. So.
Are you hiding some power stats on
Yes, I
Strava?
do. I
Yeah,
do.
okay, okay.
I do. Yeah, you can see some nice rides around Rosen.
Okay, okay,
And you can guess, I think you can get some power from Strava. So I don't
yeah,
know.
yeah, for
I'm
sure.
not a geek, but I appreciate my privacy.
There is small calculation to do, but it's easy, but not easy at the same time. Not really precise, let's say. But at least we can find some nice gravel roads around the region, which it's really cool. So thanks a lot, Caro, for your time, and yeah, we cross our finger for you to put aside mechanical flat and wrong turn issue and be able to claim a victory and as a reigning champ at Unbound.
Yeah, thanks for the wishes, and yeah, thanks for having me.
Thank you, Caro. Bye bye. And that's a wrap for this episode of the Gravel Paddock. If you want to stay ahead of the peloton, the best thing you can do right now is hit that subscribe or follow button. If you enjoyed the deep dive, please drop a 5-star rating and leave a comment. For more inside access between episodes, follow us on Instagram at the Gravel Paddock. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next episode. Ride hard.